Hi guys, this is Cece here from Cece Sharing Space. In this space, we share views and information on self-development and relationship building. Please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification button and to receive notifications for the new videos. And also, don't forget to click on the like button. Enjoy, thank you.
Hi all, welcome once again to my channel and thank you for viewing this video. In this video I'd like to speak more about unconditional love and is it possible. In the previous video we spoke about relationships, romantic relationships, and if it's possible for us to love our partners and our husbands and wives unconditionally. So we spoke about the conditions and why they give some sort of compatibility kind of signal to show that your partner is compatible with you and if this relationship is what you want. Because in most relationships we're actually aiming for a long-term relationship. So it's important for us to have conditions. Conditions makes your well-being better. It adds to your well-being. So as humans we have needs basically, and conditions are there just to express our needs in the relationship, and there's nothing negative about that. So when people say unconditional love, that means you're removing the conditions that are very important, that are key to our happiness, to our well-being in the relationship, and you want to remove that, and then you want to actually now have a relationship without our well-being being met. Is that possible? Your well-being is important. Even your partner's well-being is important. So that unconditional love part, it doesn't really exist. That's my opinion. If you think about it more clearly, right? In a relationship where it's a romantic relationship. So people will now make these conditions because they need to have a comfortable relationship, and that's okay because a relationship in a long run, long term, needs to be some sort of benefit to you as a person. So if a person needs to be in a certain way, you go and you meet somebody who's similar to you to find a compatibility. Doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't really make you a good person. It's just the way we are. We're humans and we have needs that needs to be met. We need to feel well-being in our lives, to be happy, as I say. So having these conditions is core part of a happy relationship. The two partners need to be benefiting, the male and the female, or if it's a gay relationship, then it's opposites. Both male and male needs to have these conditions and be happy and comfortable in the relationship. So this unconditionality they're talking about, we really be believing in as people, is all a lie. I think it's misleading because we don't understand that love is a choice. And even being with a person is a choice. That's why the conditions are there. That's why unconditional love is only there maybe in a parent-child relationship, but only when the child is so small, a small born baby, because you're taking care of a person that cannot talk, that cannot express themselves, right? You can just see their needs because they're a baby. They cannot talk, so you know they need to have food, needs to be washed, needs to be hugged and loved. That's not unconditional love because that baby is not really doing much, not giving much in return. Nothing tangible, you can say. So that's where the unconditional love between a mother and a child when a baby is so small. But as soon as that person, that child grows up to be an adult and growing into their own person and having their own persona, they develop an ego and they have now conditions for their own lives. So now they find that the mother and the child are now battling to get along with each other because the child has conditions and the mother has conditions, yet those conditions are not compatible anymore. You see, then it becomes a problem. So unconditional love in relationships doesn't really have a place because we all have conditions and there's nothing wrong with that. We all need to have good well-being. We all need to feel safe and feel that we're benefiting in a relationship. So if you somebody, for example, that likes shopping and your husband doesn't like shopping, you make you go shopping by yourself. You can work around that. But if you're the type of person that likes to go out night clubbing, you don't see anything wrong with it, and you're married to somebody who rather stay at home. In the long run, that relationship is not. It's gonna be rocky because you're not gonna have the same things you'll find important in life. Because you want to go out night clubbing every week and you want to sit at home. You see, so that's the first sign of a relationship that doesn't have compatibility in it. And then people need to normally ignore that and say, oh, I love You know, the thing with problem with love, it's an emotion, it's a deep emotion. It's emotion where you feel sense of pleasurability, you feel pleasurable. So that person being in your life brings you pleasure. You see, again, speaking to your well-being, because your pleasure adds to your well-being. So if you're all together in a relationship and one is moving that direction, the other in another direction, it causes problems. So if you somebody, for example, is very religious and you want to be married to, for example, a Christian woman that goes to church every Sunday, and you meet somebody continuously, you meet people that are opposite to you. They don't like that. They don't like going to church every Sunday. I don't think it's part of their life because they're not brought up in that way. So then you end up marrying a person because you say you love that person. You mistake love with lust. That's another story. So people get mixed up with what love is and what is sex and lust. Because love is accepting somebody as they are, as I said in my previous video. That love, according to what we know and understand in the Christian reality, is that love is about accepting somebody as you accept yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Basically, that's what it's about. So, in other words, you won't compromise that person's happiness. You won't put that person's life in danger. You will take care of that person like how you will take care of yourself. And then I also mentioned that some people even lack self-love. That's why they say that people should marry when they're more mature in life, when they're actually accepting themselves for who they are, accepting that they are either thin or skinny or fat, or they're not that intelligent, or they're not that sportive. That's accepting yourself. That's a way of you beginning to love yourself for who you are. So if you have problems accepting yourself, when you're in a relationship and you're expecting that person you're with in relationship to love you unconditionally, and you say that you need to love me the way I am, is that possible? Because you don't even love yourself the way you are. You're not asking yourself that question. What does that mean when I say he needs to love me the way I am, or you know what I mean, unconditionally? You need to understand too. Is what are you trying to say? What does that mean? When you're loving yourself unconditionally, you're accepting yourself totally for who you are and what you are, together with your weaknesses and your strengths. And even if when you love another person, you're accepting that person with their weaknesses and their strengths, like how you will accept that from yourself, how you will love yourself. So conditions are very important. That's what I'm trying to say in the second video, that conditions are very important because conditions lead to compatibility. So you can see and gauge that your partner is meeting all your conditions, and you like the same things, you like the going to the same events, you like doing the same things, you love the same foods. Maybe not totally everything the same, but you can have a middle part. You can meet in the middle. Like example, I've seen relationships where the one person is a vegetarian or one is a meat eater, but they still want to be with each other because in other areas of life they're compatible. They both don't want children, or they both do want children. They're very compatible. They both like sports. They like soccer, or they like any other sports. You see, so you look at all the other areas of life and see where you are compatible. That's why it's important for people to communicate in relationships, because the first time you meet somebody in a relationship, there's that spark, that physical spark, you know, that attraction, and you'll forget to talk about your expectations in life, about your conditions, and you'll end up going in a relationship, and the relationship goes on and develops into something, and you realize at the end, when there's children in the picture, that you people not really that compatible. People need to like to compromise by not considering their conditions and not considering the fact that their well-being is important. So it's not healthy in a relationship for one partner to be unhappy and the other unhappy. We both need to be at the point where we can say, well, I'm content in this relationship. I'm getting all, or if not all, most my needs met in the relationship. That can take you further in your relationship if you have something together that can last for long term, and you're both happy, considerably happy. But if one of the partners is not happy, and he's compromising because he believes in unconditional love, because he saw maybe one of his parents doing it and he believes that's an ideal way of life, then it's very unhealthy, because how long are you going to be doing that? How long are you going to be compromising your own happiness? because you want to be in this relationship, you want to prove to the world that you can love her or love him unconditionally. And then you keep on hoping that the person's going to change. If the person is an addict, you keep on hoping and supporting him and supporting them, and you keep on hoping they're going to change, but they're not doing anything for themselves to make themselves better, but you're just loving unconditionally. Is it realistic? In the long run, can you look back after 10 years, 50 years, or 15 years married? Can you look back and honestly say that I've had happiness and contentment in my marriage or my relationship? Because not all relationships end in marriage, and that's okay as well. Okay, thank you so much for tuning to this video, and I hope it was helpful. It's nice to think about these things because we humans and we are relationship beings. We need to be in relationships, and healthier relationships are best relationships for both partners. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in.